So at what age would you say that the acting kicked in? Like what inspired, what you know?
So, all right, so let's jump into it. So here's the deal. Up to the age of 13, I lived cool. I was in a middle class home, like I said, whatever. But my dad was a miserable guy. So I'm Mexican Italian. My dad's Italian, my mom's Mexican. And my dad, he was just a miserable, his life was work television, hated life. He was the type of guy where if you didn't sweat for your money, you didn't make real money. Just a real Italian, it's just the way he was, right? Yeah. He was a hard worker and that's why. And he just hated his life, man. He was just always miserable and just not a very nice dad. He was stingy with his money. It was my mom who was a house cleaning lady and she would work so she can buy clothes and put me in, you know, some of the sports and other activities that I would do or whatever at the time. But long story short, my dad had a millionaire best friend out of his company that he knew. And his hobby on the side was he was a scuba diver and a fisherman. He was part of a boat club. And I kid you not, as fairy tale as this sounds, no made up story, no Disneyland story, no nothing, it's straight up truth. The guy who my dad knew out of his business, who was a millionaire, asked my dad one time, do you want to go sailing around the world with me on this boat? But if you come with me, you can't bring your kid with you. And he was a multimillionaire. He owned a yacht.
Wow.
So one day my dad came home, I kid you not, to a 13-year-old kid. And he just said, I'm leaving. And within 2 weeks, they sold the house. They put everything in storage. And my parents left. And my dad gave me $500 to a 13-year-old kid within a 2-week time frame. I went from a middle-class home, clothes in my closet, toys in my room, food on the table, to nothing but the clothes on my back, $500 in my pocket, alone in the streets with no family to call. And that's how quick my world turned around. I used to remember sneaking back into my house when it had a for sale sign on it because I knew how to get in there. A house that was once furnished, I used to sneak in through the bathroom window or the sliding glass door. I used to push it up and slide it. Sleeping in a house with nothing but carpet that was once furnished. And the reason why I found out I had to get out of that house is because I was doing that for about 3 months. And one day I went in there and there was a phone connected in the kitchen. So I went to the phone, I picked it up, and there was a dial tone. And right then and there I realized, shit. My journey begins. But at the time I was going to a continuation school because I got into a lot of trouble. So that's where I used to hang out with the gangsters, the wrong crowd. And then for 2 years I was homeless. So I was sleeping in laundromats, donut stores, did the couch tour. But you know the deal, man. You know what's up. If you're not paying the bills at someone's house, your welcome is going to run out eventually. So at 15, I meet this girl. And one day she asked me this question. She said, how come you always wear the same clothes and I never seen where you live? And I ain't gonna front, man. I'm being straight up. Man, I was 15. I started crying. I broke down. I told her I'm homeless. My parents left me. I don't know what to do. Her dad was a pastor for a church. So he heard my story and he said, check it out, man. He said, you can move in here, but if you live in this house, we serve God and you got to hear the word of God. And he goes, those are the conditions of living here. Man, I said, homie, shit, I live anywhere, bro. I just want a place to live. You know what I mean? I go, see, homeboy could have been a Muslim. I would have said, let's roll.
Let's roll.
So I was living in this house, and the girl that I was living with, it was her dream to be an actress and a model. I never thought about acting a day in my life, bro. It never even crossed my mind. I was some hoodlum kid. Like, you know, I never ever in my life thought I could be on TV. Like, what are you talking about, right?
Right.
And long story short, one day she asked me to go to an acting class with her. And so I went with her to this acting class. And the reason why I went with her to the acting class is because I always thought that if I get her upset, I thought she'd have daddy come kick me out of the pad. And I thought she'd be like, you know, dad, get this. So I always did whatever I had to do to keep her happy. So one day I go to this acting class with her. Right place, right time. Never thought about acting a day in my damn life. Never even crossed my mind. Right place, right time. I was sitting in class. There was a producer who was sitting in class that day. It was scouting talent. Comes up to me and he goes, man, you're kind of funny. He goes, you want to be in a Taco Bell commercial? And I was like, I thought he was on some bullshit. I gave him my number, like whatever, right?
Right.
It ended up being real. 2 weeks later, I end up in a Taco Bell commercial. Never thought about acting a day of my life. Did a Taco Bell commercial at the age of 15 years old. It was the first thing I ever did. And at that time, I was ignorant to residual income.
Yes.
I didn't know about residual income. I thought it was like real work where you got to work to get paid, work to get paid, work to get paid, right? So I ended up doing this commercial, and every time they showed the commercial, I got a check. And I thought it was like a computer fuck up. I didn't know like this is how you legit get paid, right?
Right.
So long story short, I was like, damn, why I keep on getting paid for this commercial? So I called up the producer and I said, why I keep on getting paid for this commercial? And he goes, oh, that's how actors get paid. I said, what? I said, well, shit, I want to be an actor. And that's how the acting got started. So he introduced me to a manager. I met this manager guy. I just came in like this. I didn't know what I was doing. I just came in to interview. He liked me. He goes, man, I like you. You got a good personality, whatever. He goes, I'm going to see what I could do for you. He started sending me out on interviews, but everything he sent me out on was Gangster 1, Cholo 2, Trigger. I was like, what the fuck? I thought I was here to act. You know what I'm saying? It's me in real life. And that's how I started getting parts. And that's how the acting career started. So I've only been to college once to drop somebody off. Never graduated high school. And I just got lucky, bro.
I used to dream about going to college and high school when I was asleep. So, yeah.
Hey, dog, at least you dreamt about it, man.
Oh, man, you know what, bro? Wow, that was fucking amazing right there.
It's crazy.
So now, you did that. Now, how old were you when you did that again? 15, you said?
15 when I did my first commercial for Taco Bell. It was the first thing I ever did in my life was a Taco Bell commercial.
Wow, and is that still available on YouTube?
No, I looked for it, man. I tried to find it. I tried to search for it. This is 30 years ago, 30 something years ago. Like, nah, I can't even find it, bro. And it was funny. I played like a little surfer boy. It was for the new Superfish tacos.
Uh-huh.
So I was like a beach bum type guy. So that's what I was.
Superfish tacos from Taco Bell?
Yeah, back then at the days. Yeah, they tried them out and I don't think they made it, but
yeah,
they had them at the time. Yeah, Superfish tacos.
Did you try it?
Huh? I honestly didn't even try one, bro. I never went to Taco Bell and tried one. I was never a fan of Taco Bell.
So what happened after? Like, what was your next move?
I'll eat it if it's there, but I'm not a diehard fan. I was more McDonald's, you know?
That'll work. So after
because
that,
you get the toy and the Happy Meal, bro. So you know.
Did you keep that toy?
I got some of them still to this day, unwrapped.
So your next role was Cholo 1, Cholo 2, Cholo.
Yeah.
What movies were those, or what?
So it took me 8 years to get my first movie. It was no walk in the park. It was no duck walk. You know, it took me a long time to get my first movie. What I was doing at first was a bunch of industrials. So what I used to do is like, say you get hired for a hospital. And you have to watch the training video of how to deal with a patient of who's sick. I would do stuff like that. I was doing videos for like Walmart. So like, you know, if you get caught stealing in Walmart, if you're a security guard, this is the proper procedure to do to catch someone stealing in Walmart. So I started building this reputation of like the fuck up guy. And so I was doing a lot of industrial stuff at first, and that's what they're called, industrial. So I was doing like commercials and orientation videos for big companies at the time. Okay. And they were paying, man. You know, at that time they were paying like $1,500 a day, $2,000 a day, you know, and this is, I'm like 16, 17, you know, making this type of money right there. And back then, you know, $1,000 a day was some serious money, bro. Yeah. Like $100 would last me a month. You feel what I'm saying? Because this is when you could fill up your tank for $5 or $10. Yeah. You remember them days, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like $100 you could stretch.
Now
you spend $1,000 in a day. Bro.
Yeah. And the girl, did she get any roles? The girl you went with?
The girl that's ended up being a dead deal right there. You know, she became the mom to my first kid. That's about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So after that, how long was it before you decided move out? Did you make enough money to?
I not yet. You know, my first movie was big, man. It was kind of funny and it didn't go anywhere. It was with Danny Trejo, Eva Longoria, before she became Eva Longoria. She played a Chola chick in my movie. I still got it I even have it on VHS to this day. It's called No Mother's Crying, No Baby's Dying. We shot it out there in I want to say Pacoima. Okay. That's where we shot it out there on San Fernando Boulevard or whatever. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Ice-T did the soundtrack for it. Like, I thought like it was going somewhere, you know what I mean? They got some cats up in here, right? And, it ended up not going anywhere, you know, but, made a nice little check on that. But I worked 9 to 5 jobs all up until Fast and the Furious. Really? Fast and the Furious is where I've been blessed to make a living off of nothing but acting the rest of my life. But up to Fast and the Furious, I worked at Olive Garden, Denny's, Toys R Us, Kmart, Burger King. I delivered pizzas for a company at one time. It's an independent company. I did it all, bro. I had all kinds of Olive Garden. I worked at all kinds of 9-to-5 places.
See, now people that are probably watching, they are probably surprised hearing this because they probably think that you've been walking the red carpet since day one.
Nah, you got a life before that. You know what I mean? So it's, you know, and it's funny too, because you see some people pop up out of nowhere and they just think like, oh, wow. No, it's like, man, they're 23 and they just made it. They had a life before that. There's a struggle involved. You know what I mean? But
so when you were working these jobs and doing these little cameos, if you will, with these industrial
I was doing some TV shows and stuff like that, but nothing popped off. It was Fast and the Furious that started the real roller coaster.
Okay.